Well, this is going to be a great episode if you're interested in sleep. A year ago, maybe a little more, I did an episode about, I think, the most unique scientific mattress on the planet. And I said, I'm going to do a second show if, in fact, it works for me. And it was really hard for my wife and I to come off the mattress we were on. We paid a lot of money for it, and I thought it was the best in the time. And there was a couple things about this technology that swayed me to try it. Well, as promised, it was amazing. And you have to hear about this technology. If you're concerned about toxins, if you're concerned about deep sleep, REM sleep, recovery, your health in general, pain, any of those things, stay tuned for a great show. And I'm telling you, you're going to learn something about sleep. You're going to learn something that most people don't know. Check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm Ashley Smith, and today's episode is devoted to an important factor we sometimes overlook when we are trying to get well, and that is our quality of our mattress. Is your mattress making you sick? Well, leading mattress expert Jason Payne is joining us today to discuss mattresses and why what you're sleeping on can be just as important as what you're eating, what supplements you're taking, and how healthy your lifestyle is. You will also learn what mattress Dr. Pompa sleeps on and why he thinks it's the best. So let's get started and welcome Jason Payne and, of course, Dr. Pompa to the show. Welcome, both of you.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. And welcome, Jason. You and I did a webinar together on this topic. I loved it so much that I had to bring it on Cell TV. It's kind of a part two because we did a year ago. We put me on one of your mattresses. And I said, hey, if it's a hit, we'll do a part two. Well, it was an amazing hit. My wife and I love and adore your bed. Makes traveling a little bit harder, but absolutely the best bed I've ever slept on. I came from a mattress called Royal-Pedic. They literally made these mattresses for kings and queens, hence the name Royal-Pedic. So I came off of one of the best mattresses in the world, and I love this one far more. It's the technology around it that you're going to learn about today that I believe in. Look, I don't promote products on this show. You'll know that. I mean, I promote a product, or I'll talk about a product if I think it's going to make a difference in someone's life and if it made a difference in mine, but that's it. The topics really are about health, people searching for their health to get their health back. And of course, sleep is at the top of this. If you can't sleep, that was me at one point in my life, then forget it. Recovery becomes even harder because that's what happens when you sleep. You recover and you heal. We know more about REM sleep and deep sleep and the different phases of sleep and how important they are for recovery and your brain recovery than ever before. So we know now that if we can improve those things, then we can transform our health. And that's the topic of today. So Jason, talk a little bit about, you were nice enough from our webinar to bring the PowerPoint because I thought it would really help people, right? As far as understanding a little bit more about sleep. I don't want this to be about sleep. This mattress can transform people's sleep two ways. Number one, people have no clue of how toxic their mattress is. 8 hours with your face in, right against something extremely toxic is obviously a major issue, and I've talked about that for years. Number two, I was a structural correction chiropractor in my day before I was ever doing this, and I can tell you a mattress can make or break your sleep just from a pain standpoint. That happened to me too. So with that said, Jason, you can kind of talk a little bit about what you do, how you got into it yourself, and then we'll go into sleep.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that you mentioned the vacationing. I used to do shows, and every single show, someone would come up and say, I love this bed, but you've ruined my vacations. Like, I can't sleep while I'm on vacation. And everybody in the booth would always say, you paid that person to say that, right? I'm like,
No.
No, I've been in the sleep industry for a long time. The last 5 years, I've worked directly with a lot of health and wellness professionals.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to just deliver the best sleep. There's diet, exercise, and sleep. So let me share my screen here.
Yeah, no, Jason, I tell you, I have to say that when I first started sleeping on your bed, it was a risk for Marilee and I because, we were we loved our other bed, honestly, but I was so convinced, from the toxic standpoint and the technology, how it worked for burn victims, why, and also temperature, which you're going to talk a little bit about. That really convinced me because I know that I do get better sleep when I can keep my body temperature down. And so all of that to say, what you're going to share is what convinced us to make the jump. But go ahead, jump in.
Awesome. Okay, do you want to take this part? I think this
this is just a review. I had mentioned a little bit about deep sleep and REM sleep. And, during deep sleep, obviously your blood supply to your muscles increases dramatically, which obviously is why you start to build muscle, repair muscle, tissues repair. All of that happens in deep sleep. And, energy is replenished in deep sleep. So, unfortunately, Jason, the older we get, the less deep sleep people get. Now, with that said, I get on average an hour and a half of deep sleep, and I measure it with a ring, right? The Oura ring. So some nights more. And I think for my age, that's pretty extraordinary. And obviously the topic here is bed and toxins all, really have an effect on that. Hormones are released in deep sleep, growth hormone, all of the things that we need to really heal, those hormones are released during sleep. Your body detoxifies during deep sleep. Your sympathetic nerve system relaxes and puts you more in a parasympathetic. So obviously it has an effect on your GI. REM sleep, we know that your body actually detoxifies the brain via lymph. So we know that lymphatic flow has a big impact, or I should say REM sleep has a big impact on the lymphatic flow out of the brain. So we know that our brain actually detoxifies during REM sleep. And if you use your brain a lot during the day, I notice because of my Oura ring that I'll get 2.5 hours in REM sleep. So therefore, deep in REM sleep are important for your brain and your body recovery. We need them. And obviously a good mattress affects it.
Awesome. So I want to tell you a little bit about a study that was done on these mattresses. So there's a doctor, Dr. Robert Troll. He's a Stanford certified sleep doctor. He did a 2-year study on these beds. And what he did is he monitored people's sleep with an EEG machine. So it's not just, how did you sleep on a scale of 1 to 10? He actually monitored the stages of sleep they were in. Now, the two big takeaways from this study is, one, if you move while you're sleeping, like your mattress has you move because of pressure points, you go from whatever stage sleep you're in to stage 1. So you have stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then REM sleep. Stage 3 and 4 is where your body repairs and heals itself. So if you're constantly moving, you're constantly going back to stage 1 sleep. Even if you get the 8 hours you're supposed to, you're fragmenting your sleep patterns.
Right.
So that's one. The second thing is he had people, without changing their diet, exercise, or anything in their lives, he changed the mattress. That's the only thing he changed. And he had people sleeping on memory foam, air beds, pillow tops, and this gel matrix bed. And people got 80% deeper sleep, stage 3 and 4, just by sleeping on this bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to do anything except for change your sleep surface.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds the obvious, but yet, people's beds, especially if you have a mattress over 5 years old, you're sleeping in typically a hole, which requires you to move all night. Reason, because your back starts to hurt, your neck starts to hurt, your shoulder starts to hurt, your hips. I mean, all of which you'll see why this bed keeps you from having to do that, right? So one of the things that I was starting to run into is just that. I looked at my mattress and I saw this. You could see exactly where my hips were, my shoulders were, and you'll talk a little bit about that. Mattress fatigue is a big issue. Some mattresses fatigue after literally 1 year. You can start to see that in your bed. So check it out. Take your sheets off. Look for yourselves.
Yeah, when you're looking for a mattress, you really need three things. And this seems so simple and common sense, but you need a bed that isn't hurting you. One that is not allowing you to wake up with back pain. It's not a torture device. You need a bed that allows you to stay in deep sleep so you get the benefits of that. And then you need a bed that's not releasing toxic chemicals.
That's a big deal. I can tell you this right now, people looking at that PowerPoint, I mean, look at all of those chemicals. We call them VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which you could do your own Google search and realize that most of those are linked to cancer. Most of those are linked to hormone, endocrine problems. Most of those are linked to why people can't lose weight. Most of those are linked to brain fog, low energy. I mean, you do the list and put your face in that for 8 hours, right? I mean, we move in and out of different chemical sources during our day. We can drink a glass of toxic water, a couple times a day, but 8 hours of breathing, that's what's in front of you, not a good idea.
Well, not only that, but it's 8 hours while your body is in its most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Sleeping and trying to heal and repair itself. So you take probably the biggest piece of furniture you have in your house, and then you take a third of your day, and then you take your body when it's most vulnerable. The last thing you want is any chemicals.
Yeah. No, and your body's supposed to be detoxifying. You're retoxing for 8 hours. Your brain's supposed to be detoxing, and you're retoxing it right into your brain. Oh, and if you had a non-organic meal, glyphosate opens up your blood-brain barrier for hours, and then you put your face in that. So that's not working out too well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's this website, if you go to chemtalks.com and just look up mattresses, there's hundreds and hundreds of people saying, my mattress made me sick. It made me throw up. It gave me nausea. I mean, if you look at this slide, you can see short-term effects, headache, dizziness, eye, nose, throat irritation, vomiting, long-term central nervous system damage, cancer, like you just said, kidney and liver damage. I mean, this stuff is harmful. Very.
When we did the webinar together, I had told you a story that just happened with a mattress. I assure you this wasn't a plan. It happened again. I actually had a client who all of a sudden wasn't sleeping, and they were waking up like just anxious and dizzy the next day. I'm thinking, gosh, and I was tweaking the protocol. I was doing different things. Could it be this? Could it be that? And in the conversation, they mentioned they got a new mattress. I was like, oh, well, that's probably it. Could you do this experiment for me? Do you have another bed in the house? She goes, yeah. Could you do that? Well, email went, well, that worked. Slept through the night, no problem, feel normal in the morning. Yeah, get rid of the new mattress. So, it was a toxic mattress situation. So anyways.
Well, I had a health and wellness influencer that I worked with that has an autoimmune disease. And after talking to her, she said, you know what, Jason? When I found out I had the autoimmune disease, I got a brand new memory foam mattress. And she goes, for the next 2 years, I had the worst flare-ups I've ever had. Yeah. She goes, I never, ever, ever thought, oh, it could be my mattress. And she's all, but after learning and researching and listening to you, it absolutely was my mattress. It made me sicker. It made my autoimmune disease.
Absolutely.
So the question is, what should you look for in a mattress? One that's non-toxic, it doesn't off-gas, supports the hips and shoulders, temperature control, you talked a little bit about that, durability and warranty. You don't want a bed that's going to break down and you're going to have to replace every 5 to 7 years, like Consumer Reviews says. You want a company that has customer support. In fact, mattress companies are considered as high risk for merchant accounts as online gambling because so many of them open up and then go out of business. So you need a founder's commitment, a company with someone that's going to be there for the warranty, right? And then obviously price and value.
And by the way, if we can add the original link in for the original show I did, but IntelliBed was the name. This is the organic line of that company, which now it's taken off so much. Organix, is in fact the line and the only line that I represent for these reasons we're talking about. So Organix is the key, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we've talked about how you need your mattress safe, non-off-gassing. Sleeping cool, that's a big thing. Now, this gel technology has been used in hospitals for years, and they use it for pressure sores, people that are going to develop a pressure sore, but they also use it in the burn units because it sleeps cool. The gel does not retain heat. So you get these memory foam beds, and they're temperature sensitive, meaning the warmer that the foam gets, the softer that it gets. But that does a few things. One, as you sleep on it, it's an inconsistent sleep surface because it changes throughout the night depending on how hot it is, but it retains that heat and reflects that heat back up against you.
I had mentioned that that's a big deal for me as far as my deep sleep goes. So it was one of the key factors for me, honestly.
So you need a bed that's durable. Now, in the mattress industry, they do two types of tests on mattresses. One is they take 250 pounds and they smash the middle of the bed 100,000 times to see how much the bed's going to sag. Two, they take a 250-pound rollator and they roll up and down the bed 200,000 passes to see how much the material is going to break down. Now, because this gel in this mattress does not break down by heat, moisture, pressure, or oxygen, I did both of these tests on my bed, and the bed softened just over 4%. So that means not only are you getting a mattress that allows you to sleep deeper or better, you're getting a bed that's going to sleep like a brand new bed for the entire 20-year warranty.
Yeah.
So you need a bed that's soft, comfortable. You need a bed that's firm and supportive, right? So if you think about it, your hips are the heaviest part of your body. And so the softer the bed, the more your hips sink into the mattress, right? So you lay on your back, the softer the bed, your hips sink in, it puts pressure up the lower curve on your back. You lay on
Jason, people with neck problems oftentimes like the softer bed because it absorbs their shoulder, so there's that, do I go hard, soft, depends on if you're a side sleeper, back sleeper. So that's one of the magic parts about the bed. It accommodates all of it.
Well, and that's the amazing thing, right? You roll on your side, the softer the bed, it puts an unnatural kink in the base of your spine. So you want a firm bed that pushes your hips up. Chiropractors, spinal specialists for years and years have been telling their patients with back pain, get a firm bed. Well, what's the firmest surface? It's the ground. Why do people not sleep on the cement ground or the floor? It's because it's uncomfortable. Well, what's the softest surface? It's a waterbed. Why do people not sleep on a waterbed? Because it's been proven to create long-term back problems. Mm-hmm. So in the mattress industry, you're forced between all these products to find something in the middle. Like, what's firm enough that's supportive for my back? What's soft enough that's comfortable that I can sleep on?
Yeah.
That's where the gel comes into play, is it's the only product that is firm and soft at the same time. So it's firm, pushing your hips up into alignment with your shoulders. It's soft so that you can be comfortable without jeopardizing the alignment in your spine. So let's get into the gel. This is what the gel matrix looks like. If you're not watching the slideshow, it's kind of a grid-shaped material with squares with hollow centers.
I sit on it. I was so impressed with it. I sit on my chair on it. So this is what it looks like. So you can actually see through it. You can see how the air passes through it. And, what's really cool is in the first show, you have a picture of this, but, I think you give the best explanation, honestly, even better than the first show, of how it can be supportive and yet soft at the same time. So Jason, you know what? I'm not even going to demonstrate. Show that picture and do it.
So how it works is everywhere one of these squares comes together, it creates what's called a support column. So think of it this way. Say there's a huge room, and in the middle of the room there's a pillar or a column holding up the ceiling. Well, it holds up the ceiling. If you were to add pressure on top of the ceiling more and more and more, right, at some point that column is going to just break and fail and not hold up the ceiling at all. Well, how the gel works is it holds a certain amount of pressure. After that pressure exceeds a certain amount, those columns will just fold in half, taking pressure off your body. So it doesn't matter what size you are, how much you weigh, the gel will distribute your weight evenly across the surface of the gel, but underneath your hips and your shoulders or wherever there's uncomfortable pressure that causes you to toss and turn and causes you to wake up, the gel buckles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is the example. We actually did that on the show.
yeah, so in this example, what we do is we have a 1 foot by 1 foot plexiglass piece. And if you put a 15-pound weight on that on a memory foam mattress, that plexiglass will sink in a full inch, how thick it is. Now you can go to the gel and put a 50-pound weight. So this is over 3 times the amount of weight, and it doesn't sink in. So it's showing in this image with this plexiglass that this gel is extremely firm. It doesn't buckle under pressure, right?
Yeah, but like I said, if you took that 50-pounder, took it off of that spread, boom, it goes in like your shoulder would go in. But when you're on the back, it actually supports you because it's kind of like the plexiglass.
Yeah, over the broader areas, it holds you up. So even on your back and your lower back, a foam will just contour to your body. This gel actually pushes up and supports that natural curve. Now, if you look in this slide, what this is you can take a pressure mat and you can put it on the mattress and you can have someone lay on it and measure in PSI how much pressure is in between that person and the mattress. Right? Like everyone wants to say their beds are the most comfortable. Well, you can actually quantify that. So I've pressure mat tens of thousands of people, air chamber beds, inner spring memory foam, gel matrix. And if you're looking at this image, you can see that the gel matrix is the only one that actually takes pressure off of the body. Right? Your hips weigh the same amount no matter what surface you're on. So you have to have equal pressure pushing back up against them. It doesn't matter. The beds feel different and there's different technologies, but the gel's the only thing that when that pressure becomes excessive, the gel just buckles. It holds a hold of your body, you don't sink in.
You know, Jason, you sell beds with different amounts of pillow tops, right? People have different preferences, and you know the technology works so well. I literally, got the not the top of the line because I wanted to be more near the gel. I just tested both, and I liked the technology so much that I actually wanted the technology, closer to me without as much padding on top. I felt it worked better, but you have a choice when you look at the mattresses.
Yeah, and that's a perfect point. Is there's 2 different beds. One has 1 layer of gel. One has 1.5 layers of gel. But it's not a good, better, best type deal or better, best, right? Both beds take as much pressure off of your body, and they both have the same quality materials in them. So some people like that more plush feel, which this half layer of gel gives, but I personally like the bed that you got, and I chose it for the same reasons you did. So it's durable. The other thing is it's low motion. This has a coil system in it. Now these are pocketed coils, meaning it's individual coils wrapped in fabric. So 1, anyone that's concerned about EMFs, there's no big coil system that could generate any electricity. But 2, if you have a partner in the mattress with you, if they move, you're not going to feel it because the coils aren't intertwined with each other. They're individually linked. So sleep's cool. It's truly safe. Now, as far as the truly safe, I want to go back to, people started to find out all these chemicals that were in beds. And what did they do? They said, I want to go to an organic bed because an organic feels super safe, right? Like mattress companies don't have to tell you what's in their mattress or any of the chemicals. So everyone said, well, if it's organic, I know that it's safe. The problem with organic is it doesn't support your body properly. It's super expensive and it breaks down quickly. There's a reason people went from sleeping on hay and feathers to inner springs. You need something to support your body. So going back to this slide shows the value of the mattress. If you buy an organics bed, they're a little bit on the higher end. They're not inexpensive. But if you take the cost of ownership over time, this bed will last you 20 years and sleep like a brand new bed. You take some of these foam beds, and they will break down within 2, 3, 4 years. Consumer Reviews says you should replace them between 5 and 7 years, which means at that point they're a torture device. They're not comfortable at all. So that's another picture of the gel matrix. Mm-hmm. Here's the buildup of the bed. Essentially, you have an organic cotton cover. You've got the gel, which takes pressure off your body so that you don't toss and turn, you get those deep levels of sleep. You've got a little bit of foam underneath that so the gel can behave properly. And then you've got an inner spring. So mattresses are made in America. You know, when you're looking at beds, you want firm, soft, durable, safe, cool, and something that doesn't transfer motion. This has a 10 on everything. It's got a little bit of motion transfer, but not much. Other than that, it's got a 10 on everything. It's got everything that you could ever want in a bed. You don't have to compromise for any key criteria.
Yep.
So there's 1,400 doctors, medical professionals, spinal specialists, chiropractors that recommend this mattress. Health and wellness influencers all over the U.S., some of the biggest names in the industry, they all stand behind this bed because there's nothing out there like it.
Great. Yeah, and you you help my viewers out, which I appreciate, Jason. So obviously, you know, I want people, if they're getting a new mattress, not to live out that story I told. There's a non-toxic, good mattress that will improve your deep and REM sleep. So thank you for giving a discount there.
Yeah, so what we've done for anybody listening to this is, you know, Dr. Pompa loves the product. He stands behind it. So we wanted to give everyone the absolute best deal on the market. And that's 10% off the bed, free delivery, free mattress protector, free sheets. You just mentioned cellular technology. You mentioned Dr. Pompa, and you will get this deal.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Awesome. And Jason, I'll tell you, you know, it's obviously you live here where I live in Park City, so, or not in Park City, but Utah, right. Salt Lake. You actually, it's funny because we were just discussing the wind. We literally had a windstorm, and you all down in Salt Lake actually got it worse than us. Hurricane winds, and here we are in September, and we actually had some snow in the mountain, but showing that we live in the same place. But Jason, thank you. You know, I trust and love your company and the mattresses you do so much that, you know, I wanted to bring you again on the show for a second time. And although it wasn't you the first time, it was another gentleman, but at least tell how I would do on the mattress, as it was a promise, saying, hey, if I love it, I'll bring you on again and talk about it. So here you are. So I do, in fact, love it. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. This episode was brought to you by Cyto Detox. Please check it out at buycytonow.com. We'll be back next week and every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We truly appreciate your support. You can always find us at cellularhealing.tv, and please remember to spread the love by liking, subscribing, giving an iTunes review, and sharing the show with anyone you think may benefit from the information heard here. And as always, thanks for listening.